Welcome. Okay. Take a gander. She's speedy.
Of course.
Gods keep you.
Hello and welcome to the... Oh, it's you. Griffith told us that what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favourite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Timber said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back at work in the kitchen. What would you like? I'd like a room. Please. Certainly. You're always welcome, party gains. A common room. Dry as pride lost 2 rests. Plus 2 resolve. In the last character's rest without camping supplies, cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may want to do so. The bonuses they provide, okay. You can hire an adventurer? Buy some food. Party management. Yeah, let's go expensive. I should have done all the other dialogues. I don't think this would get us right into it, but that's fine. Your sleep is restless and feverish, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awake and find yourself in the front of the good gallows tree, the creaking of its rope gnawing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks the word Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils, sweat runs down to your face, and thick droplets of your skin is soaked with from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her the Animancer. Although it fills you with a new quasi apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Party gained experience. Ah, it's you, my saviour. It's good to be back. Do not think I will let this go on when ordered. I've decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded things, my dearest friends. But after this, you eat nothing else. A savoury pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Oh, level! So I have 6 points, and it points to advance. Each one costs 3. At the 6th rank, bonus damage versus flanked. So if we flank, that's fine. And then over here, stealth, we can scout. Or do I leave it at 4 and go to law? Athletics. Once per encounter, encouragement can use the second winning revolution in a higher athletic. Ooh. Is used for physical feats such like climbing and jumping mechanics. Traps and locks can be a problem for even the thing. Actually, I kind of want to be like a law. I want to have a little bit of law. Yeah, so get that to 6, get that to there. Swift aim. So it's Myrtle. A ranger gets into a speedy and fluid offensive rhythm, reducing accuracy, increasing fire rate. No, wounding shot. As he or she would be with a fleeing prey, the hunter aims for a spot that will slow the target's enemy progress, hobbling the target, inflicting raw damage over time. Passive. Hide and see predator instincts in the range. Animal can give them a damage bonus and any creature suffering a damage over time effect. Vicious aim. I think wounding shot is what we want. I'm a level 3 ranger. Yeah. So we mark and wounding. That's our... Find travel to the black... Old map. Black... Where are we? We're over here. And we want the... So we don't know where... Ooh. Reach out. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one arm after another, careful deliberation, undercut by shaking hands. Each item is a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens. She empties out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears irk from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running at it of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers her condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her service as a doctor to any who will listen. Anyone heading out on high tides. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance. A tiny speck of the island tries not to jump. Okay. Storm Brightblade? You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice turret. The man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of the bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. Carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he's doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. He hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the wood, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time. Quick grabs another boy. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest. Immediately lost among the trees, there is sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line. Running across the edge of the clearing, the boys laugh, turning to joke the man about his shots. They stop talking, singing, holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he loses the last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs, dropping it dead immediately. The boys stare at the deer, and then slowly turn to look at the man. You found respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes quietly, a quiet sigh of relief. What's upstairs? We'll find out. I don't really care. We're looking for green. Oh, there's 3 green. Here, right, here, reach out. You see a man. Soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. He's attacking a burly man. Gloria, with the kind of carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impunctual brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight. And he is in his element. In the corner, 3 smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, crackling. The trio position themselves in 3 parts of the room, and with a terse nod, they charge and punch. For them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all 3 slump to the ground in agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to the room of the unconscious and incapacitated persona out. Okay, so I'm not gonna... Yeah, okay. I'm not going to do any more of those. You must gather your party. You must gather your party. We're going to the tree. You must gather your party. Are we going to get in trouble for killing 3 people in town? If not, then I should have just killed Nonton. Because that could be the disappointment.
looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
That is not... There we go. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from the thin, crooked row that stacks at the tree. A bloated purple flesh at her neck, water away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the... Ugh. You perceive a faint glow around it that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it. Reach out for the woman. You take it deeper, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective as you exhale. You feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar words. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and you feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in the space, occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog. Her body still swirling in a wind you no longer feel from the tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope crackling as she does so, and she smiles at you. Have you come here for me, dear?
Here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
I think I survived a bioact. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me now. The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay. No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be. Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
Why is this voice acting familiar? I can't place it.
Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder. Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Mayorwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow.
Okay.
He will welcome the company.
Black Meadow.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though. And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
Skates between the buttery yellow teeth causing one to bob him down. Ugh.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife. See why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found? Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Was granted Crucible of the Soul. Yes, I'm fine. I expect I'm satisfied to be back, In any case, I appreciate your honesty since we're traveling in it. It's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. As you just demonstrated, let's continue on. Okay. So, let's go to my guy and character. I did gain the Crucible of the Soul once per rest. The Watcher unveils the vital essence of his or her enemies, gaining endurance, so I can do it once per rest? Ah, hover. Can be used for a set number of times before running out of uses. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per rest may only be used 3 times to gain these uses. Okay, so I can use it once between each rest.
17 and a half.
Okay, visions. So we gotta go towards world map. Aha! So we gotta go there. So we gotta go through that path there. Which means we get to do that and that. Okay, gotcha. I want to head down road east. No, we want the road. Ah, south. Yeah, we want. So we got Easternwood. We gotta get down to there. Look at us run! Whee! 4 hours to travel. Sneaking and searching. Sneaking melee to avoid organic tactical prevention against different crows. Searching melee to detect traps and hidden objects. I think we should save and just move.
They won't see me coming.
Sneak. Yeah, okay. We're gonna save. And then quit. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm having fun. I really do like RPGs. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.